So here's what I've been thinking about the last few days. Holidays are a fun time. They can be, I understand, certainly a painful time and a stressful time for some, but it's a time where I feel like we miss out in terms of we just want things, right? It's. I've always had this conversation with friends where, you think about Thanksgiving Day, you go on social media and it's like, man, I'm grateful. I've got more than I could have ever asked for or wanted. Right? I have far more than I need. I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed. Like, man, I'm just thankful for the life I get to live and the things that I have. And then the very next day, right, Black Friday, I need more stuff. Like I want everything. I don't have enough stuff. It's like, well, yesterday you had more than you could ever possibly want or need, and you were reflecting on that and grateful. And then we flip the switch to the next day, and suddenly you don't have enough. And we just the holiday season can become that, right? It's we just want and want and want and want, and we're constantly looking for things that will make us happier. And we think we'll just be happier if we get the nicer car, like Tracy was talking about. You get the nicer car, you get the nicer jewelry, you get the promotion, you get a bigger paycheck, you get a nicer house, you make more money, you have whatever, you go on the right vacation. We always think that the next thing is going to make us happy. If I just had a little more of this, if I just had that, then I'd be happy. Then I'd be at peace. Then I'd have everything really that I wanted or needed. And then you get that thing. And I will tell you, as someone who's as we've talked about, I'm getting a new home, right? We currently own two homes. Not how I planned for that to happen, owning two homes, but right now we own two homes, just for a couple weeks. But this new home that we've bought, it's not going to make us happy. It's not. It's going to be a great home. We're going to have a lot of great memories in that home. But if we aren't happy now, that home is not going to make us happy. Right? If I'm not happy in my job now, that new title, that new paycheck, that promotion, that raise, that's not going to make me happy. That new car is not going to make me happy. That new shiny thing is not going to make me happy. Now, that doesn't mean you don't need to want those things, right? It's okay to want a promotion, to want a new TV, to want a new car, to want a nice house. None of that's wrong. None of that's bad. None of that is unhealthy. But what's unhealthy is when we think those things are going to make us content. When we think those are the things that are going to bring us peace and joy and happiness and fulfillment. So I promise you, ask someone who's making $1 million, they want more, right? Their bank account didn't make them happy. Took away some stress, created other stress. Their house, I'm sure they love it, but it's not perfect. Because you can always find something else that you don't have. You can always find something else that somebody else does have that you want to have. And so I think in this holiday season, to be able to sit back and to reflect and to truly be content where you are and with what you have. To say, it may be nice to have some other things. I'd like to have this job, this house, this car, this relationship. Whatever those things are, it's okay. But to say, if I don't get it, I'm content with what I have. I don't need that to make me happy. I don't need that thing to fulfill me. Because we get on this hamster wheel, right, of just chasing more and more and more and more and better and more expensive and nicer. And it's like, what's the result of that? You just keep chasing and you're never resting. You're never content. Because that thing you thought was going to bring peace did temporarily. That thing you thought was going to bring fulfillment and contentment did temporarily. But the race never ends. So contentment is a superpower, right? The people in your life who are content say, yeah, it'd be nice to have those things. I want some of those things. And if I get them, awesome. But I don't need that to be happy. Like I actually do have everything I need, right? The house that we're currently in, that we're moving out of, it's not a perfect house, but it's not that it's not the source of our happiness or unhappiness. There are frustrations with it. There are also joys with it. It's been a great house for our family for 8 years. But if we're not happy now, a new home isn't going to make us happy. A new neighborhood isn't going to make us happy. Changing our kids' schools isn't going to make them happy, right? Back in my single days, having a wife wasn't going to make me happy. I needed to be content with who I was first, right? Because the spouse's job wasn't to complete me. It was to complement me and vice versa. And so where are you not content right now? Where is a lack of contentment actually robbing you of your joy and of your peace? Where are you letting the things that you want, to Tracy's point, where you start to covet these things that again aren't bad or unhealthy things, but when you put unhealthy expectations on them, they become dangerous. They become unhealthy. They become negative motivations, and they rob us of our current reality. They rob us of the joy and the peace and the contentment that we should have in our situation, because for whatever situation you're in, you may think it's awful and terrible. If only you had this, 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 and this, you'd be better. But someone else would love to be in your situation. Someone else would love to be in your situation. They're thinking, if only I had that, I'd be at peace. If only I had their home or their car or their job or their financial situation, then I'd be at peace. So instead of chasing the next thing, again, this isn't to take away ambition. This isn't to take away dreaming. This isn't to take away wanting certain things. But instead of putting all of your identity and hope and joy and peace and contentment in those things, take some time over the holidays to sit back and reflect and say, wait a minute, I actually do have enough. I'm content with what I have. If I get more, awesome. I'll be grateful for that, but I won't be any more content. What if you could launch into 2022, instead of being dissatisfied, being content? Instead of being unhappy, being fulfilled? Instead of frustrated or negative, being at peace? Saying, I have everything that I could want. I've got a job. I've got income. I've got a family. I've got a home. It may not be all the things that you want to have in certain respects. It may not be the job that you want to have. It may not be the home that you want to have, but you have enough. Right? Battle for contentment, right? Dream, have hopes, ambitions, but battle to be content. It's a superpower, and it gives you an advantage in almost every situation, right? Because when people are chasing the next thing, like, it's nice, but what I have is good enough. It's good enough. I don't need that thing. Then you can make choices about what you want to purchase, not what you feel like you need to purchase. About things that you want to go after, not things that you feel like you need to go after. If you get a promotion, awesome, go after it. Whether you get it or not, right? You still have a job. I remember talking with someone one time who had a great job and they didn't get a promotion. And I asked them, I said, well, did you like your job a month ago? They said, I loved it. Best job I've had. Love being at this place. I said, well, good news. Your job didn't change. You didn't get the promotion, but you were content a month ago. You should still be content today because your situation actually didn't change, right? We know that comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison only makes you feel better, or better in terms of prideful. Oh, I have it better than that person, or worse, I don't have it as good as that person. And that's where that comparison robs you of contentment, right? Contentment is saying, I don't need to look to the left or to the right to see what they have. I just need to be content with what I have. And we could have a whole conversation about social media on this. I love social media. I think it's a very powerful tool. I think Instagram can also be an engine of envy, because you feel the pressure to have an Instagram-worthy house and a Pinterest-worthy meal, and everything has to be picture perfect. And you were content with what you had until you opened Instagram and saw what they have. Wow, look at the things they did with their kids for Christmas. Well, look at how beautiful their bedroom is. Well, look at their vacation. It's okay. You were happy 5 minutes ago. You should still be content with what you have. But it's a battle. It's hard. We have to eliminate comparison from our lives and look at what you have. Look at who you are. Be content. Be content, because contentment leads to happiness and leads to joy, not frustration and bitterness and envy and covetousness. We don't know if that's a word, but we're going to go with it. But battle this season to be content with who you are and where you are. Tracy, any thoughts?
It's a good word. It's a good word. We don't have any questions or anything coming in, but man, I love that idea of fighting for it, battling for it. It doesn't come naturally and easily. All the good things take an effort to get. And so it's a great word.
And it's something, we're having these conversations with our boys. It's like, hey, we love that we get to get a new house, and that's certain things of our life will be better and easier, right? Driving to and from sports, certain things there will be better. But like guys, it's just a new house. Like, it doesn't define who we are. It's not going to make us happier. It will have really good things. But if we're looking for our happiness and our joy and contentment in that, well, in a year, we're suddenly going to be frustrated with that house. And suddenly this house isn't good enough. It's like, well, it's a home. We need to be content. And so it's something we talk about a lot, but also trying to we talk at Giant about multiplication all the time, trying to multiply that into our kids. Like, hey, you have enough, right? Because kids, this time,
Mhm.
I want this and I want this and I want
Mhm.
this. You have enough. It's like, are we going to get our kids toys? Yes, right? That's not the point. But it's these toys aren't going to make them any happier. It'll be temporary fun,
That's right.
for a month. And so just learning to fight for and battle for contentment. It's a really difficult thing, I think, especially in our culture.
Mhm.
Again, with the comparison, and if we were to talk to our parents,
Mhm.
they were probably content. They didn't know what the neighbors had.
Mhm.
They didn't know what somebody across town or across country had. They just went to work, lived their life, and that was okay, right? Did they have more than, and they had, most of them, I would argue, had far less than what we have,
Mm,
but
for
they were
sure.
content. They were
Yeah.
at peace,
Yeah. Anthony makes a good point here. It's no wonder that stress and depression skyrocket around Christmas when the messaging around us tells us how much we lack. We should focus more on who we are than what we have. I love that. That's a great point.
That's right. Yep. That's a huge point, right? We are
Mm,
bombarded with those messages. You don't have, that's what every commercial is, right? I mean, every commercial is essentially, hey, you don't have enough. You're missing this, and this thing will make you complete, make you a man, make you a woman, make you happy, make you like, it won't. That
right.
doesn't mean they're bad things,
Yeah.
right? But when we put those unhealthy expectations, it's like we're just setting ourselves up. It's that, again, it's that hamster wheel. It's like now we got to find the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. It's like, well, chasing contentment, chasing outer contentment is a very costly chase,
Mm.
and money and many other things.
Yeah, and we mentioned this at Thanksgiving, but we do a lot of celebration dinners around here,
Hmm.
celebration kind of events, and so that's to Anthony's point about focusing on who we are. When we celebrate someone else, maybe around the Christmas table, talk about who they are,
Hmm.
not even necessarily what they've accomplished this year, what they got this year, where they got to go, just who they are at the core of who they are, and reminding them, steering them back to who they
Yeah.
are at the core is a great idea.
Yeah, and you hit a good point there with, we tend to celebrate or acknowledge things that people have done.
Hmm.
Man, you wrote this, or you made this, or you got, instead of just who they are, right? That's a key, because we do talking about with kids, right? Like, you hear all the time with girls, you're so pretty or whatever, which is a kind thing to say, but if every compliment is around their looks, right? What unhealthy things are you putting in them? Like, compliment their looks, but compliment who they are, compliment their
Yeah.
character, compliment their kindness, compliment their generosity. Same thing around the table, right? It's like, and we try to do this with our boys. Like, we want to compliment and celebrate and call up the behaviors that we see in them, the characteristics that we see in them. Not, hey, like, I love that you scored 10 points in your basketball game. I love your effort. I love that you were a great teammate. Awesome that you scored 10 points. I
Mhm.
love that you were a great teammate and you were out there listening to your coach and cheering on your teammates. And it's a great point of just celebrating people for who they are, not what they've done or what they have.
That's right. Yeah. Well, everyone, we do really hope that you have a wonderful holiday season and get to be with those that you love. And we'll see you in the new year. We'll have a couple of weeks off. And if you go to your Giant account, giant.tv, you'll be able to see there at the top of the Ascend account when our next one is. So we'll take a couple weeks off. Hope you can rest and have fun with your families. Thanks, Kevin, as always. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, guys. Enjoy the holidays.